Welcome to USA News Today. Please subscribe and check notification box to get all breaking news alert and latest updates on hot cases.
A full interview, President Trump on Venezuela, 2020 contenders, and the Russia investigation. President Trump sits down with Fox News chief intelligence correspondent Catherine Herridge for a wide-ranging interview in the White House. President Trump told Fox News in an exclusive wide-ranging interview Thursday evening that the White House has lost patience with congressional Democrats and forcefully dismissed their efforts to subpoena former White House counsel Don McGahn and other administration officials to testify. They've testified for many hours, all of them. I would say, it's done, Trump told Fox News chief intelligence correspondent Catherine Herridge. Nobody has ever done what I've done. I've given total transparency. It's never happened before like this. They shouldn't be looking anymore. It's done. Attorney General Bill Barr made the right call in deciding not to appear before the House Judiciary Committee on Thursday, Trump said, following his testimony Wednesday in the Senate. House Democrats had insisted that committee counsel, rather than members of Congress, question Barr. It's not up to me, it's up to him, Trump said, referring to Barr's decision not to show up. And they were going to treat him differently than they've treated other people. And of course we've been treated differently to start off with. We've gone through so many investigations, everybody. And it's so ridiculous. No obstruction, no nothing, there's been no nothing. There's been no collusion, there never was, they knew that from day one. Trump added, in a shot at the total cost of special counsel Robert Mueller's Russia probe, even my finances, it must have been looked at for $35 million. I assume they looked at my taxes, I assume Mueller looked at my financial statements. For $35 million, and having 20 people, 49 FBI agents, and all of the staff and all of the money they spent, I assume they looked at my taxes, which are fine except they are under audit. By the way, the New York Times reported earlier Thursday that the FBI secretly deployed an informant to London in 2016 to gather information from then-Trump foreign policy aide George Papadopoulos, who told Fox News later that the informant posed as a researcher and tried to seduce him. Former FBI Director James Comey, Trump told Herridge, probably was one of the people leading the effort on spying on his campaign. Trump said we will find out pretty soon the extent of Comey's involvement. Comey leaked and he lied, Trump said. He lied in front of Congress. He was sworn testimony, classified information. He did a terrible job. Everybody wanted him fired, you know, everybody. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, every Democrat almost, every Republican, almost probably 100%. Trump has called the subpoena issued to McGahn by House Judiciary Committee Chairman Gerald Nadler, D. New York, a ridiculous waste of time. The ex-White House lawyer sat for more than 24 hours of interviews with Mueller and featured prominently in Mueller's report. And Trump has disputed the account in the report that he ordered McGahn to fire Mueller at one point. Can you imagine someone campaigning, she doesn't know anything about me, and she's campaigning on that fact, Trump said of the Democrat. They've gone through everything, my taxes, my financial statements, which are phenomenal. And I'm so clean. Think of it, after 2.5 years, and all of that money spent, nothing. Very few people could have sustained that. White House contenders Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, Trump told Herridge, remain his most likely opponents in 2020. I'd be very happy if it were Biden, Sleepy Joe. I think he did a bad job. I just don't think he'd be a very good candidate. I mean, we'll see what happens. I wish him well, I'd like him to get it. I'd be happy with Bernie. I personally think it's between those two. I don't see anybody else, but could be. You never know. Biden expressed his lack of concern over China as a global competitor to the U.S. at a rally on Wednesday, prompting a grim response from Senator Mitt Romney, R. Utah. China is going to eat our lunch? Come on, man. Biden exclaimed. The fact that they have this great division between the China Sea and the mountains in the east, I mean in the west. They can't figure out how they're going to deal with the corruption that exists within the system. They're not bad folks. But guess what? They're not competition for us. Biden downplays China threat, as Romney issues new warning. Reacting to those remarks, Trump said Biden was among many politicians naive over China. For somebody to be so naive, and say China's not a problem if Biden actually said that, that's a very dumb statement.